Sunday, May 10th, 10:42 a.m. New York time. Welcome back, investors, to Winning Wall Street's Money. Going to go over the industry of airlines. The industry of airlines is part of the industrial sector. There are 12 sectors in the S&P 500, one of them being the industrials. Within each sector, there's many industries. So in the industrial sector, one of the industries is airlines. Have you ever invested in airline companies? Do you currently own any equity or bonds in airline companies? There's also a stock ETF, aka index for this. We'll go over that too. That stock ETF, I'll go over several of the large companies in that index. So if you're interested, if you want to buy the individual airlines or be more diversified and own an index of airlines that's managed by someone else, yep, you could do that too in the stock market. Give you some insight if you're not situation aware. The airline industry is very broad. There are airlines that are dedicated to higher clientele with more wealth. And then there's the broader airlines that cover to all passengers of wealth. And then there's airlines that subsidize the lower price tickets by charging more for the, let's say, first class tickets. Just throw out a number there. Let's just say first class ticket going somewhere is $3,500 and the middle seat, the back row seat is $700. For that airline not to lose money, again, it's being subsidized by the person paying more. Think about that. So if you're going somewhere and you're getting the cheapest seat on the airline or one of the least expensive seats on the airline, if you think you paid too much for that, if it wasn't subsidized for somebody paying the amenities in first class, yours would be likely more. What's some of the big expenses for airlines? Fuel, maintenance, labor, insurance. Ask yourself, are you more bullish jet fuel or more bullish airline industries? Are you more bullish crude oil or a specific airline? Yeah, in the markets, you could trade those. So we'll look at the 5-year chart. Each candlestick's a week. This is the ETF index called JETS. Look at the 5 years of history. The bottom, 2023. Well, we're not down there anymore. And then look at the far right, the low of 2026. We're above that. We're below the high of 2019. That's a long time ago. Yeah, so just notice this big trading range the airline has for this year alone on the far right, the high of the year. I'm going to label that. All that is just, we're not even 6 months in the year yet. Look at the big trading range already. What do you think that's all due to? Think about it. Yeah, so the stock closed Friday, $27.48. Big trading range. And reversal too. From the high to the low. Opportunities. It could go a lot lower. So now let's look at those companies in the stock ETF, the large ones, the ones that represent the largest percentage. I have a good amount of them here. So as of Friday, this data I'm going to show you with is, again, it changes, but that's what I'm going to show you what currently is. The first one we're going to go over is Delta Airline. It represents a little more than 10% of the stock ETF JETS. Similar pattern. The lows from back here at 2023 and the lows back here at 2024. American Airline, it represents a little more than 10% also of the stock ETF jets. Big difference, yeah, big difference. Look, here's the high of 2021. Here's the high of last year's. Again, not impressive. United Airlines. Big difference, right? Absolutely. Here's the lows for those past years. So it's better performer. Yep, UAL is performing better than American Airlines. And similar to Delta Airlines. So again, American Airlines is the poor performer one. UAL. So UAL, again, represents about 10% of the stock ETF jets. So these first three airlines I showed you, Delta, American Airlines, United, each of them represent above 10% of the stock index. Now I'm going to go over ones that represent less than 10%. I say that because these three have the bigger impact on the index. But again, they change periodically. Southwest Airline. Yep. Here's the high of 2021. Here's the low this year. It's in a consolidation. It's not trending. JetBlue. Yep. Friday closed $5.11. That's not healthy. Nope. It's been making lower highs the past few years. Are you a gambler? Are you going to buy this down here? Why wouldn't you want to invest in a winner? Look, the current leadership in the stock index is technology. And within technology, the current leadership of the industries have two letters. If you're a sci-fi, you might know what's behind Skynet or the Borg, artificial intelligence. Yep, so here's Frontier. Also, 529 closed on Friday. Yep. They are low, expensive prices on these companies because institutions are not interested in owning them. Maybe you are, but the smart money, the big money that could prop these companies higher, they're not investing in them. In the stock, they might be in the bonds, but not the stock. Alaska Air. Wow, look at the high from last year. And it's much closer to the lows of 2024 now. Come on, people. Take some vacation time. Go to Alaska. Again, these represent less than 10% of the stock index. Here's another one. Very close. Actually, it made a new low for the year right here. Past week, new low for the year. Not good. SkyWest last week actually made the low of the prior week, made the low of the year, and still making lower highs. There we go. Now, this is a watch list I accumulated. These are many airline companies. How they closed Friday, mixed. Yep. All different price ranges. So I'm going to cue this in just to show you some stuff. Norwegian Air. It's a penny stock. It's less than $5. Yep. Just to show you some comparison. EasyJet, less than $5. They're cheap, inexpensive. They're not healthy. I would still clear of them. Yep. Here's another one. So as the bigger ones get worse off, the ones that are already near the bottom expect to go away sooner. They have less market share. So again, if the leadership is bad, underperforming, the ones that have smaller market share are going to be gone sooner. Less competition. Just some insight I want to share with you of one industry, of one sector that is not what's bringing the market up. If you're not aware, we had several companies make all-time new highs in several indexes this month, and it's not the airline sector. Thank you as always. Spend just a little time with me. That's it for the video. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Kelly, for support.